pay close attention and you'll see a rare glimpse of an artist in the wild. Yeah, those are carrot socks and my robe. But here's why. I'm a mom, and that's my primary job. I wouldn't change it for the world. But that means that my creative practice over the years has had to transform a little bit into a discipline that I have to be more careful about. If you're a mom and wondering how in the world do I get back to creativity, or how does it fit in my life as a mom, I'm here for you today. I recently published a YouTube short and it got 11,000 views in just 24 hours. That's not viral, but it tells me I'm not the only one who struggles with this. When I encourage fellow moms, there's always a few excuses I hear. First is always, I don't have time, which is understandable, right? I also hear, it feels kind of weird to take time for myself. I hear, I don't have energy. It's also common to feel I'm not inspired. I don't know where to start, or I don't have the right equipment. If you felt these things or said them out loud, no judgment, I have too. The truth is, the world needs your brand of creativity. And if what you create just stays in the four walls of your home to help you or your family, that's still a job well done. Today I'm taking time to just press into each of these excuses so that you can start to re-engage with your creativity and feel a little bit more like yourself again. The first excuse is, I don't have time. The truth is that you do have little margin places in your day, throughout your day, that will add up. We can always say, I can spend less time on social media or Netflix, but really what it is a change in mindset. I have a 2-year-old and I don't get a lot of time that's concentrated to just sit down and work on a painting. So I've had to change my practice to work with just the small daily chunks of time, and together they add up. Here are 8 tiny tips that make all the difference when I have a small amount of time to use wisely. I'm primarily a painter, but this works for any other art form. For most days of the week, I paint 30 minutes a day. That's my daily practice. I get there in the morning wearing my PJs and my robe. I keep my easel always set up in our home office, but I have it folded so it doesn't interfere too much with space. So I sit on the ground to paint, but it's worth it to me to be able to keep my easel up and ready. I keep my water paint cup in the bathroom so it's ready to be filled. All my paint supplies are in a rolling cart in the closet next to my easel. My paints are ready to go on a paper palette that stays in that cart. I use saran wrap to cover my paints in between 30-minute sessions. They stay wet for a few days. Another common excuse that keeps us moms from being creative, no one says this one, but I feel they all feel it, is that it's selfish to take time for myself. The truth is that if your creativity brings joy and peace to you, then it makes you a better mom. And so it's worth it. Okay, if that alone was helpful, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel for more on being mom and being creative. Who do you need permission from? Is it your spouse or your kids? Maybe you need to talk to your mom to get that permission. Did she ever take care of herself? Maybe it's you who needs to give permission to yourself. I'd suggest taking just a second to write out a permission slip on a post-it note and just leave it somewhere where you can be creative so you can see it and it can remind you that it's okay to take some time for yourself. You can also ask yourself, what am I modeling for my kids? If self-care comes last, they're going to repeat that as they go into their teen and adult years. Teach them to value the things that bring you joy as well as the things that bring them joy too. The next excuse is, I don't have the energy for that. This one's an interesting one because creativity does take energy to engage. It gives us energy, but it takes energy to start. So when you're already running low on sleep and any other forms of energy, then it's just so hard to just get started. What's helped me a lot is to begin to practice creativity when I'm with my child. So, I already have to be around them all the time, so why not make it joyful for me as well? Many afternoons I'm sitting outside on our sidewalk and just doing chalk masterpieces with my son. I also turn Play-Doh into little masterpieces just to make it fun for me. I will also say that the burnt out mom is a real thing. It starts in the newborn phase when we really literally have no other time except to keep our small ones alive. And that's just how it is, and that's okay, but it's gotta be a season. At some point, you're needing to reemerge into the world and back into yourself. If you're having trouble doing that, I really suggest counseling. That will help you understand what's going on inside of you. There might be other things at play. It's also great to ask for help from family, from friends, whoever else can lend a hand, or to hire a babysitter for just an hour or two. And during this time, use it to just be you. Don't create anything, don't do any chores or errands. Just use it to gain some margin in your time, your energy, and yourself. You might finally be to a place where you have a small chunk of time and a little bit of energy, but then you get to your canvas or your piece of paper and you just drop blank. You're just not inspired. Not inspired. That's such a hard one. What I would suggest is using those small 30-minute chunks of time to begin to draw inspiration. Don't force yourself to create until you've filled that cup. There's so many ways you can draw inspiration, and Pinterest does not count. Scrolling is a passive thing to do. It's not active, and once it's pinned to your boards, it's out of sight, out of mind. So here's some other ways besides Pinterest to use those small amounts of time to fill that cup of inspiration so that you're ready to go next time you have a small amount of time to work with. Try an online gallery tour. The internet is full of them, and you can do it from the comfort of home with just a couple of minutes. If you feel like kicking back on the couch, watch the Netflix Abstract series. This is an amazing group of artists who are filmed in their process and testimonies, and it's such a fun way to get inspired. Scroll YouTube and create a watch later playlist of easy and quick art tutorials. Now when you do this, don't select the ones that you would love to do someday. Select easy, doable ones so that you have a playlist of options ready to go. The thinking is done for you. You just hit play and follow along. The book Create Anyway by Ashley Gadd has been so inspiring to me. Use your creative margin time to just read and journal and do whatever you need to do to process in your heart what's going on so that you can unleash your own creativity. Use a small piece of paper or journal to begin listing drawing prompts or painting ideas. Just use your time to go on a quick walk. No headphones, and let your mind wander and your senses notice things. Browse an art supply store, but buy nothing. New art supplies never touched depresses me more. Inspiration is everywhere. You just have to be looking and listening for it. Lift up your head, girl. You got this. You might be thinking, I don't have the right equipment anymore. Let me tell you, equipment can sometimes be a hindrance to creativity because equipment takes some of those precious minutes of time that you already are trying to save up for your creative practice. It's just an excuse. So I take a little page from the parent book. When my son wants to dump out another pile of toys and we just don't have time to go there, I just say, no, thank you, buddy. We don't have time. What can you do? What can you do? What's around you? Take a look. Is there office supplies, kid supplies? A bunch of crayons can create a beautiful masterpiece. Play-Doh can be a wonderful, significant art challenge for making a sculpture. Make something with chalk or Legos. You can make poetry on Post-it notes. You can use your iPhone to go on a photography walk. What is around you? My architect husband uses magnet tiles for his Instagram account. Maybe you do have a second or inspiration, but then you hit the blank canvas and suddenly you feel paralyzed. Starting can be the most significant hurdle when you haven't been creative for a while. Here's a couple of things that have helped me just get started. And once I break through that first barrier, the next creative sessions are so much easier. Go back to that list of YouTube tutorials that you already saved up, or look at your list of prompts or painting ideas. Start by grabbing an empty basket or Tupperware and fill it with a few supplies. Just a few, because you don't want to get overwhelmed. Find a corner of the house and claim it as your art space to have it out and keep it out. Start by researching and printing source pictures. Set up the easel, choose a canvas, paint the sides. You have to do those anyways, so why not just do it now? You're starting. If you feel overwhelmed with the possibilities of what can I create, there's so many options. Try imposing limits. It actually helps increase your creativity. What can you make with just a blue crayon? When starting is overwhelming, it helps to start small. These little art packs can be found at any art store, and they're the perfect size when you feel overwhelmed or you have just a little bit of time to experiment. If nothing else works, grab a journal and pour out your emotions and thoughts in just a free-form, judgment-free page. What's blocking you? Maybe you can figure it out. Get over it, and then use the rest of your time to start being creative. An interesting question to ask yourself while you're at it is this excuse that's holding me back actually cloaking a fear of failure? Maybe it's been a while since you've been creative and you're wondering, have I lost it? Do I have to start over all new, building an audience? Maybe I won't measure up to the mom next door. Well, guess what? You're not called to be the mom next door. You're called to be you. Your unique voice, your unique artistic expression is vital to this world. Your children need it, you need it, and your community needs it as well. Only you can bring this into the world, just like you've done with your children. One of my favorite Van Gogh quotes is, if you hear a voice within you that says you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. So go ahead, knowing that you're hearing that voice of fear and doubt and questioning, just paint. Being a mom has made me more creative because I have to make much of the little that I have. It's made me more creative, not less. And I'm so excited to begin to encourage other moms in their creative practice. I hope this encouraged you today. If it did, would you like this video and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below? Thanks for watching. Bye.